Thank you for doing all of that, Dr.
Mhm.
Energy.
Well, I try to stay on top of it all. All right,
Yeah,
we
so
are
that's you.
ready to go live. Hello, Facebook.
Hello, Emily and Dr. Energy.
Good
Hello.
morning to everyone.
Good morning.
Today's a
All
special
right.
day for us.
It is. As you can see, we have a special guest with us today.
Howdy.
Emily, thank you so much for being here with us. We really appreciate that you're taking your time to share your talent with our audience, because I actually didn't even sleep last night. I was so nervous that you were going to be on the show. I was awake at 3:00 in the morning thinking Emily's going to be on our show. I was so excited that finally around 3:30, I thought I better get to sleep. And 6:00, I was up because I had an early meeting and I don't even feel tired. I was so excited about it.
Oh, I love it. Well, let's just pump a crap load of energy into this right now and have a fantastic time. I'm super excited to be here with both of you and just chatting and talking about whatever we're going to talk about.
Yeah. Awesome.
Okay, yes, let's get started.
Let's jump right in. And we're talking about creating content, creating connection, and yes, even a little comedy, because I know that that's near and dear to your heart, Emily.
Yeah.
So I know that you're online. You have several friends that you created a comedy troupe with. So let's talk a little bit about creating that troupe, how you guys go through, or how you ladies, let's get it straight, how the chicks create their content and create the connection with your audience.
Wow. Oh, that's so many things packed into one.
I know. It's your the ADHD's going,
it is
one.
It is kind of, but I will do my best to kind of walk through our process. And it's interesting, actually, and I won't reference the C word that I'm not supposed to reference, but there was an impact of that over the last year, of course. So we formed back in February of 2020. We've known each other for several years, but we were studying at the Second City together. So the improv program, the conservatory program, and the writing program, that's how we all met. Oh, hi, I'm soloed in this screen. Hello. So that's how we all came together. And then we had our very first official show as Big Chick Energy on I want to say February 28th last year. Then I went on vacation, and when I came home, everything was different in how we were going to be able to move forward. We couldn't get together to practice our sketches, had no idea if we were going to be able to perform live. And so, and add to that, we all had completely different equipment to film anything together, right? So we had to come up with interesting and creative ways to actually be creative while we were under the cloak of doom and sadness, for starters. Keep the comedy going.
Right.
While when you're in a headspace that you cannot be creative, it is very, very difficult to actually get anything out there. So I think over the summer, we managed to put out maybe 4 sketches, which usually for us, we would have been doing a heck of a lot more. But mentally, we just had to get to that place, right? Then we started moving into a process where we gave each other tasks. We hired someone to come in, Kirsten Rasmussen, who's a comedian here in Toronto, to help us come together as a troupe and remind us that we're here to also have fun, and it's not just work, because it kind of became work after a certain time.
Right.
So we decided to have we planned ourselves a little date day, and we took ourselves to Ontario Place and had a campfire, because you can rent them, you can be as far apart as you need to be.
Right.
And we started filming something, improvising something, and filming it just on my phone all together. And that sparked a little bit more creativity to get back into the creative side and have more fun with it. And that was a really important lesson, I think, that we all learned, that we do have to treat it like any other relationship. You have to nurture that fun and that energy, and the commitment will follow with that.
Right.
We're all very committed to comedy, of course, generally, and to each other as friends. But when you're in the headspace that is blocking you from achieving the goals that you have together, you have to dial it back. And one of our troupe members is now the director of fun, so she manages all of our social events. And it's
Nice.
like it's built into the fabric of our operational
Right.
plan as well. So yeah.
Good morning, Janice. Welcome to our Facebook Live. Emily, you mentioned about a director of fun.
Yeah.
Like that is the fact that you actually created a position within your troupe like that. Like that to me, that just speaks to how important it is to your process. And for anybody, like for me, one of the things that for me, when whether I'm in my practice with patients or I'm doing Facebook Live, fun is one of the biggest things. You know, Catherine and I have already often talked about fun and powerful edutainment. So in fact, before we renamed the business, it was fun and powerful presenters. So it really helps you get in that creative space, and it shifts the energy for what you're doing.
Yeah, it absolutely does. It was a game changer for us. And of course there were, like, I'm very much goal-oriented person and very laser-focused on that stuff. And without Alicia being there to be like, hello, you're not enjoying yourself, I wouldn't notice, right? And it's so important, like within the dynamic of the troupe, that each of us brings our unique skill sets in. So I can keep us focused on our goals. Alicia can make sure that we're actually having fun. Joanne makes sure that we're continuing our professional development. Julia is keeping everything on track with the schedule. And Sam is coming in with her excellent communication skills. And all of that together, plus the funny parts, makes magic. And it's just the best. Yeah.
It's how the difference between all of you really makes the whole, as opposed to you being all the same. Emily, we have some amazing guests on today, specifically to listen to you. And I want to invite our guests at this moment to ask you questions in the chat. Dr. Energy, you'll be able to read them. We have Ben Powell I don't know if he's here with us right now, but he's been communicating with us. He'll be watching us. He's a coach with Ben. Ingrid Falkers is here with us. She's been very loyal to us. She's on almost every live with us. Carolyn Jackson, she's a Bowen therapy specialist, and she does remote Bowen. She's here with us. She's going to have some questions. Janice Lee. Janice, how do I promote what you do? Do you know what Tantra is?
Yes.
All right, Janice, put your link in the chat. Carolyn, put your link in the chat. Ben, do that. So Janice needs to talk to us about Tantra and how she connects people, talking about energy. Wow. Jay Gilman. Jay is here from Chicago. Jay is here with us, and he has tips and tricks on web SEO, search engine optimization. And I feel like he's here today watching us. So I feel very taken care of. Jay, please put your link in the chat. Sure. Let everybody know who you are.
Chicago, the home of the second city.
That's very true. Yes.
Right.
So
I wanted to talk about, the energy, just the energy that you mentioned, Emily. Sorry, Joe.
I was going to say, before you jump into that, you did an awesome job of introducing all our guests. What about introducing ourselves?
Okay. All right. Okay. Let's do that. So let me introduce you, Joe, because I have such a pleasure in being able to do that. To our audience who's here for the first time, or our repeated audience, I am so lucky. I am so blessed to have a business partner who I call Dr. Energy, Dr. Joe Piazza. Dr. Energy and I have been in business together for over 8 years in another network marketing company when Send Out Cards started as Send Out Cards. We began communicating and working together in the bridge. We opened up a company called The Best Kept Secrets of Powerful Presentations, Fun and Powerful Presentations. We went and rebranded ourselves and came right back to exactly where we are today, in the sense that empowering people, empowering others to speak, have a voice, to speak confidently in front of this little 3-inch camera that sometimes freaks people out, and a microphone which sometimes makes people nervous. So the pleasure that I have is to work beside Dr. Energy, beside Dr. Energy, on a daily basis at all hours of the day and night, because we are producing not only a business in presenting, but we are podcasters, YouTubers, and streamers, and that's another animal. Dr. Energy drives that machine, the technical aspect of the machine. So if you can give Dr. Energy a round of applause for being awesome.
Cool. So I'm going to change things up a little bit. I know, Emily, you're into comedy, so you're probably pretty good with improvising. So I'm going to introduce Emily, and then Emily, you could introduce rah-rah. How's that sound?
Okay.
Okay. So our special guest today, as you can tell, is Emily Milling. Emily, we've just gotten to know within the last month or so, we've got to spend time with her on a podcast recording, which is actually coming out next week. So you'll get to hear even more from Emily. And Emily has this lifelong love of comedy and creating comedic content and being a creative person. It's what lights her up. It what makes her come alive, that beautiful smile, and brings all of that energy that she has to whatever she's doing. So I'm excited for her to share today with you her skills, her amazing energy, and her creativeness. Emily.
And may I present to you the one and only Rara, who, as I'm told, is in the house. Am I right? Oh my gosh. And there she is, a wonderful human being, a human who calms me down, interestingly, because that's not an easy thing to do. I'm usually like, anyway, Rara, who has this calming, beautiful energy, a human that is so in touch with what's going on in her head and within other people's heads. And I know I'm not doing your entire career justice, but I'm just kind of speaking from the heart in this moment. And I know you've helped so many people find what they're truly passionate about and figure out ways to communicate that with the world. You're going to be on my podcast coming out in April. We just recorded that the other day, and I was very privileged to have you on speaking about your various career experiences, your multi-passionate journeys that you've been on, career switches at the age of 50. Amazing. How many people can say that they've done that? You and my grandma, and that's the extent. That's all I know. Anyway, everyone, please give Rara a wonderful, warm welcome and some applause because we love her.
Thank you. Thank you
very
so
well
much.
Done.
I want
that
to
went
meet
very
your
well.
Grandma. Thank you so much. And I want to also mention Irina Dickin, because I did not mention Irina, who is in touch with the vibrations of water. We call her the water lady with Kangen water. So Irina, she's Ira on the screen.
Right.
Please put your link up there and ask questions to Emily or to Dr. Energy or to myself. We'd love, Joe, you're gonna monitor those
I'm monitoring.
questions, right?
Yep.
Okay, great. So we'll monitor those questions and we'll get to you and we'll make sure that we answer you live. That would be the point. So Emily, knowing that we have an audience today, as we're very happy that we do, is there anything that you would like to open up with and say to them about, let's leave the subject matter up to you.
Wow. What do I want to say? I've been doing a lot of introspection for my podcast production company, which is The Ultimate Creative. That is the monetary driving force behind all the comedy that I'm able to do. So in that, I wanted to feel like a true connection to what I'm actually doing with podcasting. I'm working with a coach right now, and she's helping to draw out more of this, the core values, the why, the mission, and the vision. And so what I've discovered is that I truly believe absolutely everybody on planet Earth has the ability to be creative if you are able to notice it and work with it and practice it. I also believe everybody has a fantastic, amazing story to tell, however the heck you want to tell it. Maybe it's through painting. Maybe it's through talking to people in the park. Maybe it's through a podcast, whatever it is. You have a story and you have a voice that somebody else really needs to hear. So I guess we'll start with that. Storytelling.
I love it. I love it. So let's go through a very quick, somebody who has to give like a 1-minute presentation, or they talk to you and hopefully they only take a minute to give you like a quick intro as opposed to taking 5 minutes of your time.
Oh, that would be me.
Oh, okay. Well, that's fine because, you do that. So I'll do the New York version.
Okay.
Let's talk about, if we're going to talk to somebody for a quick New York minute, what would be some of the top things that we would say, still having a voice, so that we could keep the interest of other people?
Oh my gosh. These are hard questions. And now I'm in a solo. Okay, good. You're back.
You want to back? Okay, we can do it back. I like playing around with the cameras.
Yeah, go ahead. Play with the cameras. And let me preface that. Okay, so since I see that you, let me be more specific.
Okay.
So Emily, in a 1-minute intro, would you like to share with us something that we do not know about you and you have not posted on social media, but let it be live right here today, right now, the best kept secret of Emily Milling?
My very first business was a designer cake company, and I am a trained pastry chef.
Love that. Dr. Energy,
Excellent.
in 1 minute or less, would you like to share something that is a big secret, top secret, that nobody knows about you?
Top secret that nobody knows about me. I don't know if I have a lot of big secrets like that. I've got, I can share a milestone with you coming up in May this year. I am celebrating 20 years as a doctor of chiropractic. So I can't believe it's been 20 years I've been doing this.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Mazel tov, as they say.
Thank you. And Ra, what about you? What would you like to share that somebody might not know about you?
I don't need a lot of sleep. Oh, you already know that about me.
Yes.
I do not need a lot of sleep. I am energized by life, by the vibration of what I'm doing. I can sleep, but what I really get a kick out of is being excited. And I love to be up, awake, doing, thinking, and creating. That is really where I get the most excited.
Excellent.
All right, let me go. Oh, go ahead, Joe.
No, I was just gonna jump in with a question for Emily and for you as well. When we're talking about creating connection with our audience, Emily, what's one of the key ways that you find is different about connecting with an audience online versus being live in person?
So, on the theme of energy, there's certainly an aspect to it it's really different, and comedians everywhere are having a very hard time with that element of it, because you really feed off the audience's energy, and that's how you can create a connection, right? You're able to make eye contact with people in an audience if you so choose, if that's part of what your character's motivation is, maybe like breaking the fourth wall. But on camera like this, I mean, I can see the chat in here going through, but I can't get a sense of what everybody's feeling. What are your facial expressions like? How can I help you to get to the place that you want to be in, that you showed up here for, right? Like, I know if you come to a comedy show late at night, you're probably tired. And I did all of these like really late, like 10 p.m. Friday night shows, and everybody hated it. And I was like, why are we here? But we had to do it every Friday night. And that was like a major challenge to get those people to laugh. Maybe that's why they put us up there, to train us to get people to laugh when they're in a miserable late night state. Not that 10 is that late. But even that was easier than trying to connect with people through a camera where I can't see their faces, I can't read their energy. So I do find it really, really challenging, although my troupe is going to be going live next Friday night. So we're going to try it again, just doing some improv. I think what can really help an audience connect with us, though, as we're talking and as we're presenting, would be like the energy that we share together. How are we bouncing off of each other? What are we giving to each other in terms of body language, in terms of our responses? How long are the responses? Should they be shorter or longer? So yeah, I would say if there is that ability, then again, if you're presenting all by yourself, you got to create that yourself. And that really comes down to staring at myself in the mirror and saying like, Emily, you can do this. You're awesome. Yeah.
It's like that little, it's like that. Remember that viral video of that little girl standing up on the sink in the bathroom going, I'm amazing. I'm great.
I love my food. I love my school. Yeah. Exactly that. Yeah.
Awesome. I love what you said, Emily, about not knowing what this audience, for example, here, what the audience today is actually looking for. And what you had to do was make people laugh when they were perhaps very tired from a day, a long day at work, or that's why they went to laugh, even though they were tired. So it's a great point. And I want to also welcome Cindy Mount.
Yes.
Cindy is here with decades of experience. And if you want to know how to build a network, if you would like to know how to monetize what's in your head, speak to Cindy. Cindy, please put your website, your link up so that we can know a little bit more about you. Let's ask our audience, if you could ask a question. Let's go with what Emily said. Tell us what's on your mind. Tell us why you're here. What is why are you here today? Is it because You read something, you heard something, you accepted an invitation. What's the reason you're here? And then what is it that you'd like to get out of today's live? So that would be important to know. Why are you here? Did you get a bing or a ping or a bell from Facebook? Did you get a message from either one of us? And then what's the reason you're here? Now, that's not to put you on the spot. That's to give us the opportunity to give you content, right? Let's talk about that. Giving content is not what we think you want to hear. It's what you tell us you want to hear.
Exactly. So, and on that note, I know I want to hear more about Emily's comedy troupe and about the show next Friday. So make sure you send us a link for that. Show, and we'll make sure that that goes in the email and with your podcast as well next Thursday, and we'll also promote it here on Facebook and everything, so that people
both
can
the best humans.
check that out.
Do you know this? You're so great. Thank you.
You're very welcome.
You're welcome. There must have been a pivotal moment in your life when you decided that comedy was going to be the thing. Could you remember back when you remembered you were beyond funny and you were not going to let go of the funny comedy aspect of your personality and your being?
So we're talking like childhood?
As far back as you can remember.
Okay.
Uh-oh, here we go.
I went to Red Lobster with my family. And the menu came out and everyone's perusing and wondering, what should I get? And I leaned over to my then father, no longer, but then father, and I said, 30 shrimp is a great choice, Dad, which was the commercial at the time, and everyone lost their minds. And I was like, oh, I can make people laugh. Oh, I'm going to keep doing that. And then I was dubbed Media Child. That was who I was because I was just obsessed with TV and all things funny. And then there was Weird Al. Oh, yes. My gosh.
Weird Al Yankovic.
Oh, my gosh. And in grade 2, Paige M, I won't say her full name, stared at me and she's like, do you think you're funny? And then I kind of looked at her and I was like, I guess. I remember that clearly because that was a moment where I had to, at the ripe age of 7, determine if that's something I wanted to be known for. And I was like, well, yeah, I do. But it really shook me. But, luckily it happened early on enough that I was like, yeah, I do want to be known for that. And I'm not going to falter again when somebody asks me that question, right? Yeah. And then finally I got to New York a couple of years ago with the film I made with my partner, Justin. And I was wandering around 30 Rockefeller Plaza and realized that I was in the place where a lot of comedy happens. Where I think I told the story on your podcast too. I called up Second City right then and there and signed up for a writing class because I was like, no more. I am not leaving this part of me behind anymore. And every single thing changed from that moment.
Right.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I love that. I love that you could share that with us. So we will remember 30 Rock, New York City, signing up on the spot, not letting the opportunity slip by you, take advantage, carpe diem, seize the moment.
Yes. Yeah,
carpe diem.
Carpe diem.
Carpe diem. That's what you do.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that fast forward now to doing some professional comedy, and either your own, when you're doing some solo stuff, or when you're doing with the chicks. How do you guys come up with content? Like, how does it inspire you? Like, we just asked our audience here for questions and for comments about what they'd like to hear. Nobody's put anything in the comments yet. So how do you guys come up with your content? Where do you get your ideas from? I know everybody probably asks this, but.
No, they don't.
Oh, they don't. Okay.
So I'm going to answer. I'm very excited about this. So, so we've been building out our process for a year now and getting to the point where we feel great. And we have our director of fun, making sure we're having fun. So we started working on a system, and creativity has to happen with some level of discipline, right? Otherwise, it doesn't really get there. You need to be practicing it all the time. And so we came up with a system where we pitch ideas. So we pitch premises, a who, what, where, why, and a tilt, something weird that happens. We pitch the premises one week. All of us decide together which ones we want to move forward with and write a sketch about. And then we go back, write our own sketches, come back, and then we do a feedback cycle, which lasts 2 to 3 weeks. And then from all of the input and everything, we have a finalized script. From there, we go into production, and that can look like, right now it looks like filming actually over StreamYard, which is where we're streaming from right now. or we are filming our own parts separately, which kind of sucks. But when we get together, we'll be able to film them all together again and have the same camera so it looks the same.
Exactly.
And then we just start it all over again. And having that discipline and the accountability to each other makes it so much easier. Where do the ideas come from? Oftentimes it is like when I sit down and force myself to start coming up with premises, I come up with generally something about someone's head exploding or a unicorn or, it's become a thing.
All I can think of when you said about heads exploding, you remember Kids in the Hall, crush your head and I squish your head.
Nobody home. Yes. Oh my gosh, I love it. Yeah. Mark McKinney, what a god. What a
funny
god
dude,
among
man.
men. Yeah. But yeah, so like last week, for example, I was writing first thing in the morning. It's my new routine. I write first thing in the morning because that's when I'm most creative. First thing in the morning, I come up with the tooth fairy the tooth fairy shows up to someone's window and sees that there's a baby tooth that needs to be collected, but it belongs to a 33-year-old woman's head and it's still inside her face, which is actually true of one of my teeth. One of my molars is still a baby tooth. And so the tooth fairy wakes her up and says, okay, I've come to collect. It's time to give me your tooth now. And craziness ensues from there. So yeah, I'm very excited to shoot that one. It's going to be all green screen and blood and guts. Very fun.
Nice.
It ends with no teeth, basically.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
It reminds me of, I just happened to be reading a story the other day about the Eagles and Glenn Frey and how they got the idea for the song Lion Eyes. And they were all in a bar hanging out, and a very young, attractive woman walked in with an obviously older man that she was married to. And Glenn Frey leaned over to the rest of the guys and laughing said, "Oh, you can't hide those lion eyes." And that basically, and then they literally pulled out a napkin on the spot and started writing lyrics for the song Lion Eyes, right? It's like,
I mean,
so where inspiration comes from.
Exactly. Sometimes it hits just out of nowhere. Sometimes, your friend just messages you and says, do you want to make a rap music video about Spanx? And then that turns into something.
That was pretty, I did watch that, by the way. That's hilarious. Yes. I had a good laugh.
Emily, sorry.
Go ahead.
Okay, awesome. Emily, I am not hearing, I'm reading a comment from Jay. I was watching as you were speaking. Oh, well, while you were speaking, I thought I would take over the moderating part. So Jay Gilman would like to know, here's his question. I would like to know how to create content that is fun, engaging, and speaks to my audience. Of course, the key word here is who his audience is, but let's see if you can answer that.
All right. Definitely, I would say knowing who your audience is the most important part. Because I don't know who your audience is and who you're trying to reach, a couple of the things that I would recommend would be, first of all, creating a persona. So an ideal client or customer avatar or ideal listener avatar if you have a podcast. And really get into their heads. So you want to understand what their motivations are, what drives them. Is money more important, or is family more important? Is having a high status more important, or is having tons of free time more important? Maybe it's both. Understanding what their motivations are is the first step. And then from there, I like to map out their day. How do they live their lives? What are the types of things they're doing? A really easy example is moms. Moms have, presumably, most of the time, they have very busy mornings. They like to have time for themselves in the morning, so they get that half hour before everybody's up. Then they get the kids out to school. Then they are working on their business or their jobs or whatever. And then maybe they have some childcare after the fact, and then they're making dinner, and then they're taking time for themselves, I hope, at the end of the day, if they're lucky to do that. And then they get to go to bed. So at what point in the day do they have time to engage with your content? So figure out what that time of day is, and you start releasing content at that time of day, and you start weaving in things like, I'm so glad I'm joining you for your morning walk, something like that, to, again, really get into their heads, like throw a couple of different examples out there, your morning coffee, your morning walk, your time at the gym.
Lunchtime today.
Pardon?
Like lunch right now, you're joining us for pre-lunch.
Exactly. Yeah. Right. Like getting a little bit of relaxation in before you have some food so you can mindfully eat. perhaps. So yeah, understanding when and where they're engaging with your content, what type of content they like, if they like podcasts, if they like videos, if they like reading blogs or just social media. And then I also recommend, once you start figuring that out and you start bringing people into your audience, send them out a survey to follow up on these questions. Are your assumptions about your audience correct? And you could do that by asking them questions. You could even do like record an interview where you're asking the questions so you can hear how they're saying things. And then turn that into how you deliver your content. Mirror their language. Make sure, again, that you are addressing issues that they are having, that they're explicitly telling you about. I'll just go to that mom example again. More time in the day for exercise. Make sure you have content that addresses how they can get more time in their day for exercise. And then keep doing that. Continuously work on understanding who your audience is through surveys, through questions. You could do polls on Instagram stories. There's tons of different ways to do that, but you have to be speaking directly to your audience to understand what it is they want.
I love that. Dr. Energy, can you say a few words about that subject?
Yeah, absolutely.
We're releasing a
Yes.
course actually on this.
Yeah.
So I love the question.
Yes.
Love it. So
we're going to, so the course that Catherine is speaking about is called The Avatar. And so we've got some content already recorded. We're just putting it all together in a course form for you to follow and learn from, and then we'll be releasing it. One of the other things, Emily, that you spoke about there was that really is a wonderful thing is find out who your audience is. Like you said, get in their heads. I see another skit there somehow, but that's the way my mind works. Let too, right? You may not want to be in my world, right? Here's the guy wearing the Green Lantern ring and happens to be wearing the Green Lantern belt buckle today as well. So, but one of the great way to find out who your audience is and what they're thinking about and the questions that they have is go on to Facebook, go on to YouTube, go on to LinkedIn, and start joining groups and following people who you think are your avatar and see what kind of questions are being asked, and then just start answering them. Answer the questions, chime in and be helpful. I forget the guy's name. Steve Dotto talks about his name all the time. He's a marketing guy, and it's called the book is called They Ask, You Answer. So basically having all of the people that you're talking to, they're asking questions that are in your niche, and you start answering questions. There's no cost, no fee for it. You're just being helpful and answering questions that they have about your area of expertise. And it's a long-term game. It's not a short tactic. It's a long-term strategy to build relationships, right? Be human about it. Get to know people, build the relationships.
I'll add on to that, if I may. And I'm looking at Janice's question. Mm-hmm. And then you said, how do you know who your audience is? Well, just said, okay, so I'll talk about that. Knowing who your audience is. If, for example, we'll talk about comedy, because we can speak about that. If you're delivering comedy, who is your audience? How do you decide or determine who your avatar is? So it's not who you think, it's who is actually going to respond. How often do you think that you're going to give something to someone, but yet the audience doesn't want that? So let's talk a little bit about, you have an idea, you have content, you have extremely funny material. How do you discover your avatar for that material? Janice, maybe this will give you another perspective on it.
So this is something that we're still in deep exploration mode for, because at this stage, we're also really just working on developing our creative muscles. So what I will say is, for everything I know about finding out who your avatar is and marketing and everything, it's so hard to do it for yourself. I excel at doing this for other people, for sure, but doing it for yourself is really, really hard. So I always recommend getting somebody else to bounce these ideas around with. So what we can kind of assume, I would say, just from the name Big Chick Energy alone, we know that our audience is most likely going to be women who are tuned into women's issues in an intersectional way, and people who need an escape and need some sort of outlet to have a good time and to laugh. And so typically the content that we're creating is very reflective of our own experiences and it's all through a feminist lens, generally. I mean, I don't know how the tooth fairy thing fits into the feminist lens, but whatever.
I'm sure you'll find an angle.
Or head explosions fit into the feminist, I don't know. However, I guess what is really helpful about exploring these wacky ideas is that you don't see a lot of women in comedy exploring these types of wacky ideas where people's head explodes and the tooth fairy is stealing all your teeth at night. So really, like, we can start, like, if you don't know who your audience is, start with who you are. What do you believe in? What are your core values? What are the things that you know you want to share with the world? And start doing that internal work to understand your motivations and start building from there. And that's going to be a really fun exercise for the chicks when we get to that stage and do a little bit more in-depth look into who specifically is in our audience as we're building it out.
Right.
Yeah.
I was going to say, I think it's important to note, like you said, Emily, that, you know, earlier you said that you guys you've been doing this for almost a year, right? So it's not a short, like it requires a commitment to building something. You can't just do this for 3 months and say, oh, I tried, or for 6 months even, and oh, I tried. It's do it for 6 months, see what results you're getting, who you're connecting with, and then dive deeper into that and survey those people, and then commit for another 6 months, and then see if you need to pivot or see how you need to shift your marketing or shift your connections with people. This is not a short-term thing. Like, this requires some commitment.
It's always an experiment too, right? And like, you can tell from video views, which ones are people actually watching all the way through? Which ones are people actually clicking on? Is my featured image for YouTube, the cover art, is it engaging enough? Are the titles correct? So it's always going to be an ongoing experiment.
Right.
Let's think about the companies that were successful at this. I was thinking of the Barbie doll. The market for the Barbie doll, you could dress her up into anything. There was an age group, and they became so pricey and priceless. So I'm thinking about what we've done. We've named our avatar for a particular, we have many avatars, but one in particular, she has a name. We know what she wears. We know where she hangs out. We know what she does and when she does it. So when we see that person, we know that's our avatar for that service or product. It's that succinct. So to Jay and to Janice about your audience, it's to truly know exactly who you're speaking to for that subject. There could be secondary avatars. It's not the point. The point is, if you speak to the general public, you will get general results. If you speak specifically to a market, you will be able to market to that public, to that group, and then you can market to another group. And I brought the Barbie doll into your mind because you might say, I don't know what Barbie dolls are. Okay. And some of us might say, I collected them. So you'll know that your avatar, your persona, will relate to you, not just for that time, but forever. Think about that. That's a lifelong avatar. Joe, you're muted.
Thought about that. That's sorry.
No, go ahead. Joe, you're muted. We don't hear you, but Emily was saying something.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that to add on to that, you know, like you said, if you're very general, you're going to get general results. One of my mentors in the past said, laser focus down to a specific niche, work with those people, and then it'll open up on the back end. So we can even look at this from network marketing, right? If we work with our 7 most engaged people, those 7 people are going to each know 7 people. So now you're talking 49 people, and those 49 people are going to know 7 people each. So very quickly, we're growing exponentially our audience, because we all want to do business with people we know, like, and trust. So if you start to survey who your best clients are, who are the clients, the audience that you have the most fun with, the most engagement, the most that you get energized with, the ones that you're like, I can't wait to work with this person today. Those are probably that'd be the best place to start with your avatar for your audience. Survey them, talk to them. What are their characteristics? And start marketing there and build from there.
So Emily, I must be your avatar because I couldn't sleep. I was so excited. So if someone shows up to your meeting late, if someone doesn't show up on time, if someone is inconsistent, they're probably not your avatar, unless you're looking for inconsistent people who don't show up on time. But if you are, if that's not your market, then you would want to look at the behavior of that person as well as their own perception of what they're into. Someone might say they're into something, but the evidence maybe doesn't support that. So think about the behavior of how someone acts. And Dr. Energy, you were talking about communicating with people. So if we use social media to just go out there and speak, that's one thing. But if we engage and we give value and we talk to people and answer questions and make connections, it is work. Don't think for a second that this is not work. Social media doesn't mean you sit back and nothing happens. It means that you go out and you do the work, W-O-R-K, networking, in order to develop those relationships. Overnight successes and it's great. I was going to say get rich quick schemes. Those are another thing we can speak about. But when it comes to developing a business and developing a brand and delivering content, as content creators, it never stops. We never sleep, even though we might have our eyes closed. It is going. Emily, the program runs all the time, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't stop. There's a pad.
I've got a notebook somewhere here. Yeah, same thing.
Right, exactly. I mean, we were talking about this the other day, Joe. You and I were like,
oh, well, and didn't we just do that? We just revamped some of our website because we had some new ideas of how to structure it and how to put that information out there to make it easier for people to engage with.
So we just go in there. So we do our own website in case anybody wants to know. One of our websites, which is BU Network, B-U.network. If you're not familiar with that, maybe we'll throw a banner up there. Dr. Joe and I, we develop, build, push out that website. We do it. Now, that doesn't mean, Jay, that we can't use your expertise. Before we met you, that's what we were doing. And then we have people like Jay come along and they can give us, ideas and suggestions, but we go into the nitty gritty. Dr. Energy goes into the coding. And when we have an idea, when I say we, I'm talking about like we, and I say, Joe, do you think we could? And he goes, yeah. Okay.
Let me look into it. It usually just means more work for me.
And we have a business meeting and we conclude that meeting with a complete and total change. And boy, are we both happy campers.
Yeah.
Content creating, it is definitely an ongoing business, no matter what business you're in, even if you're not doing YouTubes, even if you're not doing Facebook Lives, if you have a clientele and a client base, you need to be creating content so that that client comes back and that they want to come back to you over and over again. Maybe you're funny, maybe you have humor in your business model, and maybe it's a very serious subject, but either way, the content needs to be compelling enough for your client to want to come back and actually pay you, and beyond that, refer you. Because a client who pays you big dollars and one client means you have all your eggs in one basket. And as the chicks would say, I'm sure you have a bunch of different baskets with different eggs in them.
We do. We have so many. Oh, yeah, it's just, there's something that I wanted to pull out as well, because we were talking about how to make your content engaging, right?
Right.
That's a question that I often get a lot as well with my podcasting clients. And to bring it all back full circle, a callback, if you will, storytelling is a really, really great way to do that because it keeps people on the edge of their seats, wanting more. Well, what happens next? What happens next? And actually, when I'm teaching podcasting, I bring out a sketch writing sort of a graphic. I bring out a graphic, like the structure. How do we write sketches? We start with who, what, where, and the premise, and then there's the tilt. What's the weird thing that happened that day? And then we add in heightening beats, and then we explore. And we do that 3 times, so 3 heightening beats that are explored. Finally, we get to the climax. Something big and amazing is happening, and our hero has to make a choice. Live or die. Let someone else live or die. Maybe it's not that serious, but we can make it that serious if we want to. And then there's the fallout. What happens as a result of this point of no return where this person has changed. A transformation has taken place. That's how you get people on the hook and coming back and wanting more. Finding ways to weave storytelling into literally all of your content is going to make it so much easier for your audience to engage with you.
Can I add? Oh,
yeah,
sorry.
Go ahead, Catherine.
I wanted to add something that I heard yesterday, and I thought I hadn't had a chance to talk to you about it, Joe. An event. Yeah,
I hear more work coming for me.
Well, see what you think about this. I was listening to an event planner. I was at a meeting, a Cowie meeting. Cindy, I don't know if you were there with us, and Cindy had made some comments. But this event planner talked about creating 3 aspects to the work that you do. And the aspect is realistic, optimistic, and pessimistic. So I'm thinking about that with avatars, right? Aside from the fact that it is an event planning, a great strategy. Realistic is I'll have this many people come and buy my course at this price.
Right.
Optimistic is I'll have this many people buy it and I'll make $100,000. And pessimistic is absolutely nobody will buy this and nobody wants this. And I have done all this work for nothing. So when I heard this yesterday, I thought this was amazing that we could look at that. Like, I know this, right? But I thought about that for our avatar. Pessimistic, optimistic, and realistic. Yeah. And so when we're doing that avatar, Cindy, I know you have a comment, we'll read it, and Janice and Jay, and when you're doing that avatar, think about the possibility. If you're not right, then what will you do next? Meaning, you're going to do the work. You may not get it right, but you'll have to go and move on. But negates it. You will have to move it up, kick it up a notch. Because if you're speaking to an audience and you don't want to wait 6 months to find out why nobody's there, and you decide you're a quick start and you want to, in a month, revamp, then you need to be able to take the next steps doing the same thing, realistic, pessimistic, and optimistic. So should I read Cindy's comment, Joe, or did you want to say something?
I was going to jump in on what you just had to say there, and then we can circle back to Cindy's comment. So the way I like to look at things is using that pessimistic, realistic, optimistic viewpoint. Is instead, I look at when we're creating something, I like to have, okay, here's the goal, and here's kind of the easy goal. So the first level, yeah, we could get there. I don't see it wouldn't be that difficult to get there. Then there's the stretch goal. Whereas, okay, it's going to take a little bit more work, a little bit more effort. I'm not sure exactly how we're going to get there, but I'm pretty sure we can get there. And then there's the audacious goal, the audacious one, the one that is so out there, the big dream. Like, I have no freaking idea how it's ever going to happen, but let's shoot for it and let's go for it, because that's the one that really excites me, and let's go for it. So I like to kind of look at it in that perspective more. So it's something that it's always something that I'm moving towards, rather than there's an aspect of, like the pessimism, because the energy that you have around it is going to be transferred to whatever you're doing, and people will always pick up on that on some level.
Right. Let me put this back into context. It's Malik Sidky, MALAKSIDKY. She actually will be a podcast guest of us very soon. So I'll attribute this information to Malik, healthcare event planning. And I just wanted to we'll catch her business, healthcare event planning. And when she spoke about this yesterday, it made so much sense in event planning, because you need to know, and she talked about how the events that she puts on make tens and hundreds of thousands of dollars. So imagine when you're planning an event, you definitely need to know those things. So in any plan, approach the plan knowing best case, better case, less better case, and the case of what I know right now without going any further. And always what Emily said, speak to a professional, because sometimes it's really easy to do for other people and not for yourself. So engage with someone else. Did you want to read Cindy's comments? You have them handy?
They're just talking about it's not net sit or net talk, it's network. So we definitely agree with that, right? You got to put some effort into building the relationships with people. That's the one you're talking about?
Yes. And I also I often use the term when referral searching. What does your wanted poster look like? That's a great visual, Cindy. I love that. What is your wanted poster? It's pretty specific. It could be someone's market if they teach time management. So we can talk about
about people not showing up. Yeah.
And using other people's audiences, and that's a really great strategy. And when I say use, utilize, give value to someone else's audience, so that way that audience then goes and shifts right over to you. So is there anything you want to say about that, Emily or Joe, to the wanted poster? Good idea.
That was a fabulous summary that I have nothing to add to, except that I agree wholeheartedly.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you so much.
And then just to follow up on with Jay's comment about there's a learning curve, absolutely, and that's why you have to start. What's that saying, that the best time to plant an oak tree was 20 years ago, and the next best time is today. Mm-hmm. So just start doing something and tweak it on the fly, adapt on the fly as you go, because you could be in search of the knowledge and the information forever. You could research and research and research and have all the information, but if you never put it into practice, you're still going to be where you are and you'll never get to your end goal. So start doing it now and start building towards that goal. Otherwise, like Emily, I'm sure you'd agree with the chicks, right? That would, if you hadn't at least started it, you'd still be researching it.
Exactly. And it's so easy to get stuck in analysis paralysis and just wondering what could be. And I think the more you get in your head about something, like, I don't know if I could put this out there, I don't know how people are going to respond to it, the more power you give to things not happening. That was not an eloquent way to say what I wanted to say, but you get what I'm trying to say, right? I mean, honestly, like, it's scary enough going out there, putting yourself out there, and even creating a post on Facebook sometimes that says, I believe this thing. But imagine doing that all the time and knowing that you're most likely at some point going to be catching a lot of weird anti-feminist backlash, which will happen, and we have to prepare for it. But if we don't put ourselves out there and we don't share our gifts with the world and the people who really want it, we're doing a disservice both to us and to our audience. And that's like, you have to be brave and you have to catch yourself in analysis paralysis and take one small step forward. And everybody says this, but it's the easiest way to accomplish your goals. Do one thing every single day. It does not have to be ginormous, but it will move you forward towards what you actually want.
Right.
Love that. Think about the brand. Yeah. Nike. What does Nike say?
Just do it, baby.
Do it, baby.
Yep.
Yes.
There was you said something in there that I was going to add on to about moving forward, and that totally went out of my head.
Doing something every day. You said so many great things there. Doing something every day, and analysis paralysis. And in case there's somebody out there in the audience that
it'll come back if it was important.
Yeah, I wanted to highlight this in case somebody's out here thinking, well, I don't want to put that out on social media. Someone's not going to like it. They're going to be unhappy with it. Yep, they will be. They will.
I know what I was going to say. It was about trolls, right? About people, the backlash. The bigger your business gets, the more popular it gets. There's going to be haters. No matter what. And especially if you're online, some people troll just literally to troll. I found this out. This blows my mind. There's a group of trollers out there. They literally go from live stream to live stream asking if your couch in the background is for sale. And their only goal is to get you to respond to that, to say, yeah, the couch is for sale, call, blah, blah. Like that's all they do. That's how they troll. And they just go for that response. And I'm just like, really? And I guess
very unfulfilled troll. Why?
Yes, or they think it's fun or something. And who knows? Maybe it's a bunch of 16-year-old kids in the basement, in their parents' basement. Who knows?
Feels like something dumb I would have done.
Hey, it's like when we used to do crank calls, right? Hey, do you have Prince Albert? Do you have Prince Albert in a can?
Yeah, exactly.
Better let him out. So there's that. It's always going to get bigger. Cindy had another comment about describing things, right? If you lost your child in the mall, you wouldn't just say she's a little kid, right? You describe everything right down to the final detail, how her hair was, what she was wearing or what he was wearing, what color was it, was a t-shirt, a sweater, what jeans, what shoes, etc. You give as much detail as you could. So it's the same thing when you're creating your avatar and connecting with your audience. Connect with them as much as you can.
That's a great analysis. Losing your child in a mall. How would you describe that child, and how would you describe your avatar? If you can't do that, then you don't know your child and you don't know your avatar.
I hope you know your child.
And what is Jay saying? Emily, how important is a personality for fun content creation?
That's a really great question. I've been mulling that over because I saw it come in and I'm like, how will I answer this question? Jay, I think what might be most important to look at a little bit beyond this question is, how do you feel about what you want to put out there? The more passionate you are about the subject matter, the easier it's going to be fun about it. However, I am thinking of an example of if I was a funeral director, I don't know how fun and engaging I would want to try to be with my content. Possibly it would have a slightly different tone, but the more passionate you are about the thing you're talking about, the fun will just come through in your personality no matter what. You can't force it. And that was a really hard lesson that I learned. I started my podcast, Ultimate Podcast Marketing, a year ago. It was something totally different than what it is now. It's been a journey. And I think the only reason that it actually succeeded for a full year was because I went full in 100 billion% on, I am just a weirdo. And if you don't like it, whatever. And if you do like it, great. We're buddies now. And I end every episode with like, "Hey, love you, bye." I don't know if a lot of people do that, but I know that is something that makes me feel good. And I know that comes through in what I'm talking about and what I'm sharing. Actually, we talked about this a lot on the BU Network episode I'll be on next week. So check that out. Foreshadowing, leaving you on the hook.
Dun, dun, dun.
And you talked about funeral director. What's so funny, in my Rotary Club in St. Catharines, we shout out to George Dart. George Dart is hysterical. I mean, I understand his job is George Dart Funeral Homes. I understand that is not an easy job, but when George would speak, he would sometimes say things like people were dying to get into his business. And he would say little things like that because obviously we were 115 or 20 people at lunch, and here's George Dart, owner of George Dart Funeral Home, and George wouldn't come up and be like, he would come up and actually have this amazing sense of humor, and he was such a wonderful presenter and speaker, which you knew that he was able to speak to the families. Right. So the persona of the person who is that person and the people he speaks to, you also want to match the persona of the person that you're speaking to. Meaning, if you're able to say, "Love you, bye," then the person who loves you you have to be able to say that. If you're too afraid to go out there and make a statement, then your avatar is probably going to have a little bit of the same skepticism about jumping into what it is that you have to offer and sell. So hopefully that circles and makes sense. But Emily, I love what you said about how you say "love you, bye." That's great.
Everyone should know that they're loved, so why not, right?
Exactly. I think that to add a little bit to that about having personality when you're doing a podcast or you're putting content out to presentations or whatever it might be, is the most important thing, and you identify this, Emily, is being yourself. Let who you are come out. Don't try to be a people pleaser. Don't try to give what you think your audience wants to see. Because there's going to be haters. And there's going to be people who love you, and let the haters hate. And who knows, some of them may be converted when they see who you really are and what you're really like. Catherine and I, we really are like this in our real life. People who've met us in our real life comment like you guys are the same in life as you are on your podcast or on your presentations. It's the way I am in my office with patients. I am an outgoing person. I do like to joke around and have some fun. And I do have a serious side to me, and I let that come out too when I'm trying to make a specific point that has a little bit more gravitas to it. So be yourself. You can't be anybody else. If you try to please everybody, you're going to end up pleasing no one, least of all yourself.
Dr. Energy, speaking about BU podcasts, did you just drop a cast today? Did we drop a cast this morning?
As a matter of fact, I just was putting it in the comments.
Oh, look at that. Great minds think alike.
And fools seldom differ. There's always the back half of that comment, right?
So whichever part of that we are. You want to share a little bit about that? The hook is our opening 12 seconds of the podcast that we just dropped, the cast that we just dropped. You have to listen to it because that's hysterical. That's funny.
That was quite funny. Yes. Speaking of feminists and women, experiences of women, and that's all I'm going to say about that.
All right. We're going to tell everybody who that was.
That was Vivian Sharon. She is a Yorkville. Easy for me to say. Vivian Sharon, she's a Sotheby's international real estate broker. Her main area is in Yorkville. So the subtitle of her episode is The Yorkville Life. And we chatted with Vivian about a new book that she's got out. And if you listen to the podcast, you can get the link to download her book for free online. It was a really good talk about how people transition, how boomers can transition from where they're currently living into a new situation as their life circumstances change. And that's basically the thrust of her book. Well.
I think she was on a podcast I edited for one of my clients.
Oh, really? Look at that.
She's getting around talking about it's fascinating stuff. I haven't listened to yours yet, but I did listen to that one, so I'm sure it's just as fascinating on your episode.
Just came out. Just
dropped at 10:30 this morning.
Wow. And who is going to be? What are we dropping out next week?
We are dropping our wonderful, beautiful, talented, and creative guest, Emily, on our podcast next week. So you get to even learn even more from Emily.
And I cry a bit. It's great.
Oh, that's right. I forgot.
We had such touching moments. It's Emily, I want to hang out with you more. I don't like looking at the time, Dr. Energy, but I want to say this because it's not about the time. I want to say we're having such a great time. In case I forgot to tell you, this was the best time, just like they said in Pretty Woman. And I would love to continue. So let's go hop on over to our YouTube channel and check out what we've done this week, because we're looking to edutain. Oh gosh, I muffed it. Edutain you. Help me out here, Joe. Edutain you with our YouTube magic.
What would you like to share specifically?
About YouTube?
Yeah.
Oh, what's on my mind?
Yeah.
Check out 2 of our YouTube releases. One with Cheryl Plouffe, and then the third one that we released. You know the game Where's Waldo? Go and find the third one that we released and let us know what you think about it.
I like that. I like that. It's fun to have games.
Yes.
Fun to have games. All right.
And awesome. Being competitive as I am,
you know.
One of my qualities, right? Well, Emily, this has been a lot of fun having you here with us. Thank you so much for hanging out with us and being you. And being you is amazing getting to know. Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me. It's amazing getting to know both of you as well. And I really appreciate all the time we get to spend together chatting about things that we like. Again, and thank you for this platform to share what I love with people. I'm so grateful for the opportunity.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much for being here. We really appreciate it and love spending time with you. And remember, send us that link for your online performance for next Friday with the chicks.
You'll find it all at bigchickenergysketch.com.
There you go, bigchickenergysketch.com. Everybody hear that?
Yeah. And as Emily would say, love you. Bye.
Love you. Bye.
And the last thing, if you enjoyed this content and would like to help us create more of it, we are 100% community funded. buymeacoffee.com/BU network. You could buy us a coffee or two, and we really appreciate it and love to have a coffee with you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, everyone, to our audience and to our guests today for asking those questions and communicating and engaging with us. Truly, we love you.
Absolutely.
Ciao.
See you on the other side.
Bye.